So it's a pleasure to be here. And Jan, I have to say, when we registered, we kept on thinking about what kind of sexy title can we choose for the presentation. We thought a lot about that, and then in the end we said we cannot win because there are so many sexy titles in the agenda. So let's just say what we are doing. We are a software provider that provides an open DERMS system that allows us to connect heating, electricity, and mobility, which is the convergence of those sectors that everyone is talking about, which basically means we are a big believer of a distributed energy world. And a distributed energy world, one of the challenges that utilities are facing today, how can I make money in such a world? Because I don't own those assets anymore. And as we keep on hearing today, it is extremely essential that you get close to the customer. It's extremely essential that you have access to data. And all of that is nothing new. We all know that from other industries like Airbnb, Uber, and the likes, and I don't want to repeat all of those examples. But it's not about owning the asset anymore. It's about owning the access to the customer and owning the access to the data. And then on top of that, you can start providing all sorts of new services to the end customer as a utility. New services like energy flat rates or independence, helping your customer to be more independent. You've all heard about that, or energy communities, or maybe at some point in the future, even peer-to-peer energy, and utilities are stepping in the background in order to manage such kind of peer-to-peer networks. That means data is becoming the new oil for future energy services, because without data, you can't offer that. And we as GreenCom, our software is called Energy Information Brokerage Platform. It is basically the rig to get access to the oil. We are a pure technology provider. The core of our technology is a highly scalable IoT platform that allows us to integrate millions of devices and process the data in close to real time. In our platform, we have all sorts of machine learning because we need to predict the behavior of all of those connected devices that will be out there in a distributed energy world. And that is not trivial. So we have self-learning algorithms embedded in order to forecast the behavior of those devices, considering external parameters, but considering as well historical behavior of a solar PV, for instance. When you have a tree in front of a building, the algorithm learns about that. In addition, we do not only analyze data, we control as well those devices in an optimized way, which means that we generate production or consumption schedules for every individual device connected to our platform in order to optimize the usage. Optimization in our case means either locally or centrally in a virtual power plant. Locally means within a building, centrally in a virtual power plant, which means on top of our platform we need applications to support that. On the one hand side, end customer-oriented applications. On the other side, applications like a virtual power plant. One of the big challenges that we have in our setup is that all of those devices are not simple to integrate because they typically have very proprietary communication protocols, which means that we developed a software stack that can run on communication gateways, sometimes more like that one here, that allow us to quickly integrate all of those devices and to manage those devices, connect them to our cloud platform then in the end. Managing devices means that you have to work with those manufacturers of leading devices. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we are not only talking about solar PV, we are talking as well about batteries, about electrical heating and cooling, we are talking about mobility. So it's all of those devices that are coming together in a future intelligent energy system. In terms of applications, we have a couple of categories of applications. One application is around managing the energy flows locally, which is called distributed energy management in that case, where we optimize the usage of solar PVs, of batteries, electric vehicles, heating and cooling type of devices in a local premise. And we even have utilities here that are using that application or that service from our side. Then we have energy communities where we can link up people with each other, and that can be done completely virtually or it can be done on a regional basis. So one of the best examples that we have is that we connected an entire district of the city of Cologne on our platform with about 700 apartments with all sorts of energy sources, solar PV, battery storage, electric vehicles, district heating, heat pumps, micro CHPs, everything connected, and we manage those energy flows within that district in order to make sure that there is maximum independence in that district. The other application is a virtual power plant that allows us to optimize globally, so entire portfolios of assets. So we are actually in the process of working on a next generation release, which will be going live by the end of this year. This will allow us to not only integrate large assets like wind power, like solar power, like grid-scale storage, biomass, etc. It will allow us to combine the large assets with very small residential assets in one single portfolio. It will allow us to optimize not only on reserve capacity markets, but as well on spot markets, and the algorithms basically decide in close to real time where to trade the existing capacity. The implementation will contain roughly 2,000 megawatt. Yes, it's megawatt, which is fairly big. So our utility partner has a huge installed base, and they want to connect everything to our platform in order to optimize that globally. That's a very big implementation and will bring us significantly forward. And the last category of applications is, we call it tariff mediation. We are not a billing company, but basically what we help utilities is getting around the SAP problem that every utility has, because even if you want to bring out a new product, a new service into the market, you just can't invoice it. So we don't replace existing billing systems, but we basically plug us before those existing billing systems in order to allow product managers to quickly create products or tariffs on the fly. We do the calculation of all the billable items, and then we feed it back into existing billing systems like SAP, because in some cases it's very hard to replace those existing billing systems, and it's extremely expensive and risky. So since our platform is capable of processing mass data, we enable that functionality. In that case, one of our customers is a customer that has more than 10 million residential customers, a large European utility that is actually implementing that. Having said that, we are primarily working with large utilities, but as well with manufacturers of devices in the distributed world. Last year, we've been chosen by the Free Electrons Consortia that was already mentioned by Depsis. Here is Michael. They've chosen 12 startups out of 450 startups around the globe that they wanted to work with closely on new types of business models. We've been one of those 12 startups, and as a matter of fact, we are working closely with some of those large utilities, which is pretty exciting. So before Jan will ask me that final question, yes, we are raising funds. We plan to raise 8 million in the second half of this year. We just finalized a very small round with MacDoc Ventures. MacDoc is the family office of the Murdoch family in Australia, and we have existing investors with Munich Venture Partners and Set Ventures. Both are here, and both are sponsors. So if you're interested in a software company that provides solutions for the future distributed energy market, and that has a good network with large international utilities, so please feel free to contact me. I will be happy to talk with you. Thanks a lot.